Okay, welcome all. Welcome to our Friday afternoon iGyro training sessions. Today, what we'll be going through is working on creating pop-up forms for lead capturing. And what we do here is try to offer something of value to the client so they're more inclined to actually put their details in. All right, so the details we're referring to is their email address. So ideally, we'll get their first, last name, phone number, and definitely an email address. And that email address will be automatically sent to your email marketing system, in which case you can easily contact that person in the future by your email marketing efforts. So we've got a few examples of what we're trying to achieve today. So I'll walk through how to create one and how they might be used. So here's some examples that you might be familiar with. This is just the homepage of one of our CAN sites here. So I scroll down a bit, we've got this section here for a new home design brochure. It's a PDF download. So you'll see here, we've got a bit of an infographic here to explain the value you're trying to provide to the client and offering them this free download button. Now, I've already downloaded this before, so I'll open this in a incognito window in Chrome. And what happens once the client has already put their details in once, they won't be asked again for their details, so they can freely download that without putting their details in again. So I'll just open the same site, and here's the section here. So we click on this free download button, we get this form that pops up asking for the first, last email address and phone number. So we use that in the section here. There are also some other places on our websites that this will occur natively as well. Like at the top, we have this e-brochure button. So if you click on that one, you'll get a very similar form that pops up. And another place you'll see that is on our design library. So I'll just pick one of these. Scroll down, we've got this download button. So again, this does the same thing as well. So click on that, ask for the client's details. So again, there are some cookies here. Once a client enters their details once, they won't be asked again. So they could go down or go through the website, try and download 5 different designs. They'd only be asked once for their details. All right, this particular browser here, I've already put my details in here. So if I click on the free download button, it'll download the file straight away without being prompted to put the details in. I'll just try that on this one. So I've filled out my details, click on download, and that downloads the file. All right, so automatically in the background, it's captured those details of the client. Actually, while we're there, one other place you'll see this, which is built into our INH sites, is in your address bar here. Just go to your site. In this case, it's CANS, and we'll go /magazine. This page is built into your sites, and it's just a hook page. So you can advertise this site in any of your email marketing or Facebook advertising. Just provide that link. Clients will be taken to this page, and they can be prompted here to download this file. Obviously, if they're in the email marketing system, you've already got their email address. So if you're using Facebook marketing, this would work best. All right, I'll just log into the admin panel for this site. And probably the first thing we need to look at is this files and assets. So in here, we're going to provide 2 things. There'll be an image here that we're using just to describe what the person's downloading, but also the PDF brochure that's behind that. All right, so here's an example image that we'll use. So this is the same one in the examples that I showed you a second ago, but I've just drawn over the top of it to show you that you can customize it. So you can provide that to your graphic designer. They can come up with any sort of layout that you'd like. But here's the dimensions, 1024 by 560. And a thing to note here is that, oops, just see if I could draw on that, cancel that. All right. right. So a thing to note here is that when, or depending on how much content that you're showing in this page, the content I'm talking about is this section here. So if you have very little or a great deal more than that, more or less of this image will show. So if you have a lot less text, you'll only see above that line. So you need to make sure your most important part of that graphic is in the top part of this particular image. All right, but your graphic designer should understand all that. All right, so we go to Files and Assets. Here's a section where we can upload this content. So I'm just going to upload that example background photo that I showed you there. So I'll drag that onto here. It'll let me do that. Sorry guys, we've just crashed. That was my browser just crashing then. I'll try again. I'll try and drag this file onto the assets section here. And I'll upload that file. And there it is sitting there ready for use. And the other thing that's really important, obviously, is the PDF download that we're offering. So I've got that here as well, and I'll drag that on. Now, this particular PDF is a rather large file, so I might just take a moment for that to upload. There we go. So it's a PDF. It doesn't have an image here, but you can see the link right here. Alrighty, I'll just open up another tab to work with here because we'll come back to this in a second. So back onto the admin page. So what we'll do here is we'll create a new page and almost create like a landing page for this example. So if I create a new page, and the page name, we might just call this custom home designs. All right, so we've gone through what all these do in previous webinars, so you can look those up if you need to. So I've just filled out the basics there. And here's our page. Now, to create the page that we're looking at, I'll just open up that again. To create a section like this, we need to make sure this is a full width page. So by default, it is not full width. So we need to tick that, and it gives you more customizable control of the content and how it's laid out, and allows you to go edge to edge on the website. All right, so these buttons and the pop-ups are a little bit complex. It will involve a little bit of HTML code, but we've made that for you already, and we'll provide that in iGyro Global Docs. But here's a file I put together for our use here. So it's this first section here. So essentially we're going to cut and paste all of this, but there's a few parts here that we'll fill out. So I've got the green section here, which is content that we can modify in this file, or you can leave it and modify that once it's in the website. But these parts are definitely easier modified here in this file before copying it in. All right, so this section here is just a link to our background image. So I'll shoot back to these files here, and you'll see there's the link here. So if I right click on that, we can copy that link location. And essentially I'll just paste it into this file. So I'll replace this red text here and paste that into there. All right, the next one down here is for the PDF file itself. So I'll get that link, right click, copy link location, and I'll paste that into this file as well. All right, that should be everything that you need to change there. So I'll just copy all of this section here. Control C to copy. All right, we'll shoot back to our page that we're editing. So if we paste it directly into here with Control V, it's just going to paste the code in there and it won't do much for you. It'll just look pretty ugly. So I'll undo that. Where you want to paste this is into this code section here. So click on this button. If you hover over the top, it'll say View HTML. Gives you another window that you can paste into, and that will accept HTML code. All right, click on Update. And this is what we've got here. So I've got this section here saying replace with new content. It's just part of that template code that I gave you. So it just makes it easier for you to start typing content into here. You can make it a full page about this. You could make it into a really nice landing page with lots of content for your visitors. But I'll just do a very basic one here. I'll make that a heading. All right, I've got full width ticked. So if I save this now, okay, we've got this new tab up here for customized homes. So I'll open that in a new tab just to check that out. And this is what we've come up with. So there's the text that you've entered. Here's our background image. So obviously you'd want your graphic designers to do a lot better job than I have and don't draw all these dimensions all over it. But yeah, here's the content that we've added in the template. So we can go through and modify that. And I'll just open that up again, just in an incognito window again. I'll paste that URL in, just to make sure that pop-up's working okay. All right, so it still thinks we're logged in, so it's downloaded the file straight away there. I'll just close that again. Let's try that again. Free download, and we get that pop-up. So we've done all of that just by pasting that piece of code in. All right, if we click on Edit for that page, so again, you could have edited this section here in the green text in this file before you pasted it in, or you can just modify that in here as well. All right, there's our changes. And I'll just show you, if I remove some of this content, I'll show you how this image squashes up as well. You can see that I've taken the content out so it's made it shorter. So you can see how that book has kind of been cropped off at the bottom there. So again, just make sure that your content for that image has got some nice meaningful information in that top left corner. All right, well that concludes our training session on that one. Actually, I will show you one more section here. I forgot to go through this. In this template file, I've got another section which is a lot smaller piece of code, which is just for a download button. So we'll just replace that. This is the link to your PDF file. So I'll just copy it from up here, and I'll paste that into there. Copy that whole section, Control C. And I'll just edit another page. I might go, I'll try the About page. So if you wanted to, you could just write some content here to ask someone to click on the button. So for a right, so you'd have to describe what the button is about, and if we click into the code again, we'll scroll to the very bottom and just make a bit of a blank space and paste that code in there. We've ended up with this free download button here. So we'll save that and we'll check out the About page. Now we've got that free download button just here. So it's a lot simpler, the code, because all it is just the button. We're not trying to put background images in place, so you don't need any graphic design, but you would need to make sure you describe exactly what that button's doing. Otherwise, there'll be no point for someone to click on that button. All right, we'll try that again just in an incognito window, just to make sure the form pops up. Which it does. So if they fill out their details, click on download, they'll download that file. All right, so if you wanted to get started with that, that's probably the easiest place to start, is just with a button. But if you get a bit adventurous, talk to your graphic designer and use this piece of code here. So again, I'll make that available in Global Docs and let you know when it's there via Workplace. All right, thanks for attending, everyone. We'll see you next week.